What's up, everybody? We have some wild fight news for UFC 303, and that is that Michael Venom Page, MVP, will be taking on Ian Garry. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a matchup that there was some speculation about this possibly happening, right? We had Ian Garry maybe versus Colby Covington, and then we know Colby Covington's ducking Ian Garry. So we have all these different variables to where we're like, what's going to happen with these two? They're kind of in no man's land. We know MVP is not going to go in there against a top guy who's got any type of high-level grappling, right? They're going to probably put him in there with a striker. We heard maybe some rumors about maybe a Jeff Neal type of matchup. Neal's coming off a loss. This matchup is an absolute banger. This is a great stylistic clash. I mean, first of all, early prediction, I'm going MVP. I think MVP is one, he either wins by decision or honestly, I think he might be able to hurt Ian Garry because one thing about Ian Garry, right? What we've seen from him thus far, the guy has some really good low kicks. He's got good calf kicks. He has good distance management, the way he's able to kind of slide around on the outside. But one thing that has troubled Ian Garry a little bit, if you watch the Jeff Neal fight back, is if you apply a little bit of smart, educated pressure. And with MVP, it's kind of that point style, karate-esque style where it's so unpredictable. You never know what's coming. And this man has sensational power in his right hand. And he is really, really dangerous whenever he decides to blitz in. And that right hand, we saw what he was able to do to Kevin Holland. Now, I will say this. One of the issues that Ian Garry has had in the past, Michael Venom Page has had in the past, if you go back to Bellator when he took on Douglas Lima, that low kick, whenever you could time MVP trying to make an entry, you hit him with a low kick and then catch him with something, that is going to have to be the game plan of Ian Garry because as technical and as crisp as Ian Garry is on the feet, I just don't see how he's going to be able to go tick for tack with Michael Venom Page because MVP has the speed advantage. I think he even has the power advantage, and the unpredictability factor is kind of what takes him to the next level. But this is a huge matchup at 170 pounds because both of these guys are I would say two of the bigger names in the division right now. They both are strikers, so they're going to put butts in seats, right? Ian Garry's kind of disliked by the fan base. People are, not exactly high on Ian Garry to a degree in the aspect of wanting to root for him. There's some fans out there, but he's really the whole thing with his, with his lady, the wag, all this stuff going on. He's kind of became more of a dislike figure in the community to where MVP bursts on the scene. First fight against Kevin Holland. That showcased MVP's skill set. That was a matchup where the UFC said, you know what, MVP, we're bringing you over from Bellator. We've seen the highlight reels. We know what you're about. We're going to give you a guy that's going to stand and trade with you and show us what you're about. We're going to put you in a great spotlight. We're going to give you a ranked Kevin Holland, and MVP went out there and took care of business and pretty much dominated the fight. Let's kind of call it what it is, guys. Kevin Holland's a solid fighter. He's very game. He's tough. He has a good right hand. But outside of that, MVP just had his way. And MVP was starting to kind of stun on him a little bit as the fight played out. And I think that he is going to trouble Ian Garry. The only way I see MVP losing this fight is if he gets timed with a low kick on an entry and gets countered with a right hand by Ian Garry. But let's not act like Ian Garry's some sort of knockout artist, right? I know Ian Garry does have good precision. He does have a good pull too. He likes Conor McGregor, and you see the way he slides back and fires off that right hand. He's very accurate. He's very, very dangerous. But his past couple fights, a lot of them have been decisions, right? And while he's shown some impressive things, he does have good striking. I just think MVP is going to be a lot for him to handle. I think MVP wins, and not only that, I think whoever wins this fight is one big fight away from somebody inside the top 5 from a title shot, and depending on what happens for Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad, depending on how things shape up, I mean, if MVP goes out there and starches Ian Garry or Ian Garry starches MVP, maybe we see something that leads to a potential title shot. Not exactly likely, but nonetheless, guys, this is an unbelievable matchup between these two. I'm glad the UFC booked this because stylistically, this is one of the best clashes inside the division. And also to note, this is on a Conor McGregor pay-per-view. Anytime you're on a Conor McGregor pay-per-view, all eyes are going to be on the card, man. And, there's people paying a lot of money to be in the arena, butts in seats. People are paying for Conor McGregor pay-per-views. If you want to capture the casual eye and introduce the viewer into a fun, exciting character, No bigger stage right now than MVP and Ian Garry. I think this is the biggest fight of both of their lives. MVP has a long, extensive martial arts career. This is the biggest fight of his life. This is the biggest fight of Ian Garry's life. And things are just getting bigger, right? The UFC also announced that June 3rd in Dublin, Ireland, Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler are going to do a press conference. It's free and open to the public. They're going to start to pump this thing up here, right? UFC 302 is almost here. You know, it's time to start kind of building up for that Conor McGregor fight. And I'm starting to kind of feel the excitement, right? Carlos Alberg stepping in to take on Jamal Hill. That's the co-main event. That's a crazy fight, right? We got a young up-and-coming guy who seems like he's legit going in there against a former champion in Jamal Hill. Now we have these two guys who are two of the more exciting styles inside the 170-pound division. Sign me up. UFC 303 for International Fight Week just got a hell of a lot better with this announcement between MVP and Ian Garry. This is a tremendous matchup. Well done by the UFC. Like this video, comment your early predictions below. Are you guys riding with Ian Garry, or do you think MVP gets it done? Subscribe to the channel, help your boy out. I appreciate you all. See you next time.